Hey, what's up guys, Impulse7 here, and today I am bringing you guys another video, and in this video I'm going to be doing a tier list of all the Secret of the Mimic characters, and I am joined today by Shadow Libra. Say hello. Not exactly what I meant.
Hello.
Hello. So, we got the tier list right in front of us.
Where is Orville? And Mr.
Orville?
Hippo?
Okay, calm down.
Monty.
Calm down.
And
okay, Monty's right here.
and-
But so for this tier list, I didn't include like the cutouts and like the the animatronics that the Mimic wears and like all the animatronics from the Welcome Show. I didn't include all those because they don't really have personalities, minus like a couple specific characters like Mr. Helpful and the Rocktopus. Like they appear in different areas of the game, so they actually have personalities. Same with like the animatronics or the puppets from the puppet show. I wanted to keep certain ones because they were kind of distinct, but all the animatronics, they're kind of just the Mimic in the first place, so I didn't feel like they were necessary to include. And the animatronics from the Welcome Show, they don't really say anything, they're just kind of there and move from pulleys and stuff, so like they don't really matter too much, so I didn't want to include all of them. But
Emily.
he's not there because he's part of the logs and he doesn't have a personality in the game besides just like being mentioned. I don't think he's even in the logs. I think he's just mentioned in the logs. I tried to arrange them in roughly order of appearance. Not exactly. It's close, but not like perfect. Like obviously like the prototype characters, like they can appear in pretty much any order depending on when you look at them. And then at the bottom are all just the main characters: Edwin, Fiona, David, M1, the attempts at recreating M1 or at creating a body for M2. Then there's the David side of M2, the Edwin side of M2, and then there's the amalgamation of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, and Foxy with the Mimic inside. So, just all the distinct characters, like I just wanted to put towards the bottom. And then we also have stuff like the Star Orphans, the Sleepy Moon, the Puppets, the Captain, the Mannequins, the Cleanovac, and of course, Arnold and Dispatch right there. First character on the list is Arnold. What do we think of Arnold?
I quite liked him. I liked that he had a lot of dialogue and stuff like that.
Where was this dialogue? I heard barely any dialogue from this man.
He talked a few times.
He talked a few times.
A or B.
He talked more than Michael. He talked less than Cassie and Gregory.
Exactly.
I think
it's not a high bar though.
Yeah, not really. Michael talked like once ever.
He talked more than Jeremy Fitzgerald.
It's true. I think Arnold was just kind of boring because he barely had any lines and he didn't really have much of a personality other than just wanting to get out of there and sleep.
To be fair, you finished a 36-hour shift. Like, he's probably not at his best.
And then it was 4 a.m. by the time he left, so he was up for 40 hours working. Probably awake longer than that.
I bet you wouldn't want to be up for 40 hours working.
Oh yeah, of course not. I've never been up for 40 hours straight in the first place. I think the most I've been up has been like 35, something like that. I was like, I'll push it 2 more hours, I'll make it to 37 because it's a peak number, and then I fell asleep.
Impulse737 living up to his name.
Not really, more like Impulse735. Anyway.
Change your YouTube name.
Impulse735, nah. But I think that Arnold was like, he was okay, but there just wasn't much to him, if that makes sense, you know? So like,
yeah.
He wasn't bad, but he wasn't anything really special, you know? And I feel like for a lore-packed game like this, it's kind of weird that they opted to have like the main character be someone random, if that makes sense. Like, I would have expected...
It's like the first time they've done that, too.
Yeah. Like, I think the last time there was a random character as the protagonist was, like, FNaF 2. And that's even if you consider Jeremy to be a random character. Like, he could theoretically still be someone that we know, right? Like, he could have been, like, one of the FNaF 4 bullies or something. We don't know for sure. But, like Arnold...
Are you only saying that because I think that?
No, I didn't even know you thought that. My point is, he could be... So, like, Arnold is the first guy that is, like, pretty much definitively a random person. Because there's nobody that he can be. Like, maybe he'll have a bigger role in the future that we just don't know of yet. But as of now...
He's the pink guy.
As of now, he's literally just a random character. Cassie is, like, kind of a random person, but also theoretically her dad's like somebody important. Some people say the Bonnie Bully, some others would say like some version of Jeremy or something, and that's like up for debate,
like,
right? But like,
and she's also like Gregory's friend.
Exactly. So like, she's not entirely random. Arnold has really no purpose other than working for Fazbear Entertainment, right? So
he's Cassie's granddad.
It's like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of weird for them to opt for that in a game like this that has so much lore, you know?
Yeah.
You would think that they would have us be someone that's like, that has a bigger role already, or like that would have a bigger role revealed in the game, but with Arnold it's just like, oh yeah, he's a random person, and then by the end of the game he's still a random person. I think Arnold I'd put like in like B tier. Like, he's just okay.
Yeah.
It honestly, I would say probably like lower part of B tier if more characters end up being in B tier, but that's just me. I think he's just okay. Next up, we got Dispatch, which
I love Andy Field.
Yes, Andy is peak. Didn't Andy also voice like the pirate puppets too? I think he did.
Yeah, he voiced the captain.
Yeah, I think he did Foxy too. I think I remember seeing like a video he posted of like him doing like the behind the scenes stuff, like as like doing the voices for the characters.
I remember he said like, it may not be historically accurate, but it is cinematically accurate. I think Andy Field is always really funny in the FNaF games he's in. He
always brings a lot of lightheartedness, but also kind of a little bit of horror element, because it's like you're in this horrible situation and then he's just like, haha, you're doing fine, everything's okay. Well, I'm sure everything's okay. Oh, you're dying? Oh, that's fine. Anyway, so moving on. It's like, it's very clearly humorous, but also like in terms of like a deeper meaning behind like everything he's saying. It's like, it's kind of scary, the fact that he doesn't care that anything is happening, you know? And he keeps giving you all the information about all like the horrifying stuff that's happening around you, and he just doesn't give a shit about it. You know?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I would put him probably in like A tier, personally.
Heck yeah. I actually might put him in S only because I like his dialogue.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'd put him in A, but probably top of A. I'd say another person that I would put in A tier. I think I would put Mr. Helpful in A tier too.
Miss it. Miss it.
Miss it. Miss it. He wants you to lose. No, Mr. Helpful's fun. It's cool that like it's Edwin. So like in the higher up access, like the admin access in the big top section, like there's that one where it's like he's still talking like in his Mr. Helpful voice, but he's just like, hey, I want you guys to come to my house and have dinner at 8 or whatever. So I'll see you at 8, and that like that whole thing. It's cool because it's like everyone's kind of turning on Edwin, so it's like he's like trying to get back in their good graces, and it's cool. Like obviously we'll rank Edwin himself later, but it's cool like having those elements of Edwin in Mr. Helpful because it is his voice, and it's cool that like we get some of Edwin's lore like within these things, and like having like some of like the dialogue of his like in the executive access stuff.
His
especially
the Fiona too's in there.
Yeah. Which one was that on? I don't remember.
Oh,
that was it. That was also in the big top one. That was in the executive one, I think. Right after the Chica section, right before we go into Edwin's executive access like office, right? We hear like that whole thing where he's like, "I miss you" and all that stuff. And that part's pretty cool. And it's pretty sad, but overall I'd say I would put Mr. Helpful in A tier. He's cool. Mrs. Helpful, I think I would probably also put in A tier, kind of for the same reason, because it's Fiona too. But then there's the executive access, like, also has lore, like, from Edwin, and even some from Fiona too. And it's a nice way to, like, reveal that stuff. It's cool, like, you have all the different access, and then you reach these certain areas with that access. So then, when you get the higher access, you might not think immediately to go back and hear what else they had to say, and then when you do, like it's pretty rewarding in that way, and I think it's cool.
It's also kind of clever because it doesn't like force the player to like sit through like cutscenes or anything like that as well, so it kind of like gives you the story in a way that doesn't really break any immersion or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's cool because like you have to go looking for it too.
Yeah.
It's like they don't throw it in your face. They're just like, hey guys, you can come back here later when you get higher access and you'll get stuff for it. Enjoy.
Yeah, I like that it doesn't like completely like close you off from much of the game.
And now we got S. This thing is peak. We love the
so
Camino
cute.
back. It is very cute. And I like that it's kind of like the pat-pats, like the wet floor signs in Security Breach. Like it's kind of similarly designed, like in terms of the head, but it's a vacuum instead of a wet floor sign. And I like it. It's cute. It's so sweet. Sweet, fun little guy.
I like petting it.
Yeah, me too. I wish you could. Some of them you can't pet though. Like or like you can't always pet them.
You can't pet some of them.
And it's sad when you have the gun in your hand and you just like try to pet it and then you just shoot it. That's depressing.
Shooting, petting,
same thing. Yeah. That's a safe first S tier character.
Very safe first S tier.
Yeah. Next we got the digityper. This thing,
So,
I was kind of expecting it to have more of a role in the game, but it didn't really. It was there for like 2 minutes, if that.
So I watched Markiplier's playthrough of the game, and that was the only character that like genuinely scared him.
What?
Well,
Why?
he has a fear of mannequins.
Oh,
which
okay.
Is,
Right,
which is
yeah.
definitely why.
I
and
remember
that
him
just
saying
kind of
that.
like felt like too much like an actual type of like mannequin.
Yeah. I wonder how he felt about the actual mannequins. Did he get scared from those, or?
Apparently, those ones didn't really bother him much. He said.
Huh. That's surprising. The digityper, though, it does have kind of a creepy design. It's a mailman, which is nice, I guess. And it's cool. Like, it's definitely like the inspiration for the staff bots later on, I'd say.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
Overall, like, it's okay, but like it doesn't have enough screen time for me to really put it any higher than like C, I'd say. Because it's kind of just
C
there.
feels a little high.
C feels high. I would say C or D.
You kind of just it kind of just like says hello and then it dies.
Yeah, I think it's a cool concept. I think you're right. Yeah, I'd put it in D, but like I think I wouldn't put it lower than D. I wouldn't put it like E or F. Like it's kind of just there, but it's a cool concept, you know. But he's barely there.
I don't really have anything to say about it. I realized.
Next up, we got the main event that really wasn't a main event. Jackie.
You know what? Jackie's cool.
Jackie is cool.
I would have been nice if she was in more of the game, considering she was like
she's literally the cover art, yeah.
during all the advertisements, but
yeah, I don't think I can put her higher than A. Like I would say S if she had more screen time because she was really cool, but like
yeah,
she didn't really do anything. Like she chased you a couple times and that was it.
That's the only gripe I have with Jackie, that she was in all the marketing but not really used a whole lot.
What I don't really understand was how does the mimic play into this? Because, like, she was in the box, she hops, like, out of the box, and she, like, breaks her skirt off, right? And then, like, I like how she drags the entire box along with her. That's kind of cool. But it's kind of sad you can't get back to the digityper. It would have been cool. Or, like, the room where the digityper was. You can't get back there.
I do think it's the mimic wearing Jackie somehow.
I agree, but how did he get in there?
Good question. I really say it because that is the case with Dolly.
Yeah, I think I remember Altera telling me that like the mimic breaks out of Dolly at the end or something.
Yeah, during the
elevator.
When you fix the elevator,
yeah,
you can see that happen if you look.
Yeah, I never really noticed that. I feel like that might be a reference to the books where the mimic is like said to be burned. Right? And, like, he's inside this molten Dolly. Like, I don't think he does get burned by it in the games, but I think it might be a reference to that just because she is burning. And it could be like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is, like, remember how that happened? Yeah, this is definitely happening here, even though it's not happening at all.
Even though it's, like, not burned at all?
Yeah, not even a little bit. But, yeah, overall, Jackie, I think, is cool. I mean, maybe Jackie just wasn't the mimic at first, like, when she first broke out. And then the mimic got into her, like, after that. Because she doesn't have the orange eyes when she first enters the room.
Maybe she actually wanted to play, and she just also thought that the staff bot, or the digityper, sorry, was creepy.
Yeah, she was like, hey, what are you doing? And then she just destroyed him and threw him into the wall. I mean, maybe, like, she just wasn't the Mimic at all at first when she first broke out, because she doesn't have the orange eyes until after we go down into like the lower areas, right? So maybe it's just like the Mimic gets into her after that. I don't know.
I guess that was the case with Dolly. During Dolly's like first half of the segment, it was just kind of its own thing on the rails.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she breaks off.
Yeah.
We'll get to Dolly later, though. Next up, we got the mannequins.
Time too early.
Next up, we got the mannequins.
Those things annoyed me.
They're annoying as shit.
Yeah, if you get too close to them, they just expose where you are.
Yeah. It's really annoying. The only reason I'm not putting them in F is because they're kind of funny at times. But, like, in the Music Man section, like the Big Top section, it's like, I'm just trying to walk. And sometimes I'm, like, perfectly in between the two of them. And they still yell at me, and I'm just like, dude, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to live here. And then they just don't let me live.
Yeah, they can burn an L.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the Big Top section overall. Not only are these things annoying, but I feel like his chase sequence was really annoying too. Because there were times when, like, there was a door completely open, and then you try to go through it, and then everything falls on it. I got trapped like that a couple times. Like, I got literally soft locked. And, like, I couldn't die. And, like, I was just stuck in there.
It took me a couple tries with the Big Top section, like, during the chase, I remember.
The thing is, it changes every time. So, like, it's, like, slightly different. So, it's not even like you can be like, oh, okay, I was wrong, I'll try a different path. No, like, you can't go anywhere else. There's one specific path. And, like, sometimes, like, his leg pops in through the ceiling before you even make it to the correct route. So you just die anyway. So, like, it's really annoying at times. And I remember one time I was doing the Big Top section, and I was doing the section where, like, he's, like, throwing stuff through the ceiling, and you're trying to get down to, like, where, like, the area in the teaser. That part of the chase sequence. And I remember he kept throwing stuff down right next to me, so I was, like, going in a line all the way. I had to go all the way around it, like, 3 times to actually make it to the area I was going, because he wouldn't leave an open spot for me to actually walk into. Like, he just kept dropping stuff. Yeah. And he only left an open spot at the end because the game was like, okay, well, he still has to be able to win. You know?
You still gotta, like, complete the game.
We need to allow him to win. We just gotta annoy him as much as possible first.
We just gotta, like, piss him off, make him cuss us out, you know? All that stuff.
It's like, I think Big Top was cool in design, and, like, his personality just yelling, tickets, please. Like, that was cool. But, like, him as an enemy in the game, I honestly thought was really annoying. So, this might be a little harsh. I would honestly put him in C. Because he was honestly really annoying.
Gonna say, like, C,
he was really annoying to me.
I wasn't that big a fan of Big Top either. So.
I think Hour 2, like 1 a.m., I think that was overall probably just my least favorite part of the game.
Yeah. I didn't really like that with his section. You had to... with, like, the whole spin the wheel thing as well. You kind of had to, like, do it, like, 3 different times.
Yeah, I think it would have been cooler if you only had to do one of the minigames, and then the others were just optional. And also, you have to wait for the wind to spiel. I mean, what did I even just say? You have to wait for the wind to spiel. You have to wait for the wheel to spin, like, 4 times, and it's annoying because it just, like, takes up your time, especially once you've already done it before, so you're like, you know what's gonna happen. I've done that section 3 times, and it's just like, I want to go. Let me pass here.
I want to continue the game, please.
Yeah, I want to continue the game so I can finish his annoying ass chase sequence again, so I could get to Hour 3 with the spring lock suit, because that part wasn't one of my favorite ones either, but, like, I didn't dislike it, you know. That part, it was a little annoying at times, that whole section where you're trying to get the spring lock suit, but for the most part, it was pretty cool. Speaking of the spring lock suit.
Spring lock suit.
The spring lock suit itself was pretty cool.
I really like that they actually had you put on a spring lock suit.
Yeah,
in this game.
It's cool, but, like, also, there's a section where, like, you fall, and then Dolly's like, another spring lock failure, and it's like, why am I alive if I had a spring lock failure? Maybe Arnold is a robot.
I feel like like Edwin's spring locks are like a lot safer than Henry's or something
Yeah, it
like
seems
that.
like it.
Sounds
I don't
like
know.
Henry should be taking notes, but
Probably, but then he was like, "Nah, we'll not use Edwin's," and it's just
we'll,
like,
we'll put
okay,
our
well,
employees in danger instead.
yeah, I think Afton honestly would have probably never become Springtrap if they ended up using Edwin's spring locks.
Wait, you're so right.
Yeah,
Actually,
there would be no Springtrap. So I guess
on
good
second
thing.
thought, I'm glad they didn't use Edwin's
Yeah,
spring
yeah.
locks.
In universe though, why would they not? You know, because they were so much better.
Screw Edwin.
This Springlock suit though, I think it was actually pretty cool. I like the concept of wearing a Springlock suit, and we'll get to more of that later with like the parachute ending characters. But I think that this one, the captain, like as a character, like if we group in like him from the pirate show, because like he's not here like as one of the puppets, so we can like group him into there. He was an alright character, and I liked it. Like the that whole pirate show part of the game was annoying as shit. So I'm gonna put these puppets pretty low too. But like, I think that the concept of wearing a Springlock suit and also having like the little squid on your arm or octopus, whatever it was. I don't know if it was a squid or an octopus, but that was cool. And then being able to shoot stuff from it was cool. So overall, I'd say I'd put it in like B tier. It was pretty cool.
That's actually lower than I expected.
Nah, I wouldn't put it too high because it was just a Springlock suit, and it doesn't have that much personality. I say that, but the other ones in the future, I am gonna put way higher than that. But that's besides the point.
I mean, that one talks though.
Like in the show, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'd put it above Arnold. I'll say. I should rearrange these like to put them like in order that I would want them to be. I think this is the order that I want them. Like if I was ranking them in order from like best to worst, left would be the best, and then right would be the worst. I think that's what I would do.
Fair order.
So, now we got the puppets. Foxy was okay in this.
My nostalgia brain liked seeing Foxy.
Yeah, I think it was cool seeing Foxy, but like it was just a puppet show. So like there wasn't much to it. Yeah, overall I'd say put it like C. Like below Big Top.
Who voiced Foxy?
I think it was Andy Field.
He did good.
Yeah. He did. This one is named Kit. I don't know why he exists.
I don't know why most of these exist, honestly.
I don't either, but like Roxy makes sense. The Rocktopus is funny, so like it's cool. Boston and Renard are cool as characters, but Kit's kind of just there.
So F.
Honestly, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
F. He didn't do anything. He was just there. Roxy didn't do much either, but it was cool seeing her, so I'll put her in C.
Yeah, I really liked that Roxy was in the game.
Same with Monty. I think it was really cool seeing them like this early in the timeline.
Yeah, like there's a lot of like characters we see in the future that I feel like were in this game. I thought that was cool.
I agree. Yeah, it's cool like seeing the classics too, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Oh, and Chica's Party World. Chica, that was cool. Boston was he the Scottish? I think he was the Scottish one, right?
I think so.
I think he was also kind of just there, but the accent puts him a little higher for me. I'll put him in D. But below the digityper. I think the digityper was a little cooler. Renard is the chef guy.
Was he a good chef?
I think he like made a mistake or something. Like I think he made something wrong or whatever. I don't know. F. No, I'll put him above Kit though. No, I'll put him in E. I'll put him in E. I'll put him in E below the mannequins
though. I see.
Yeah. The Rocktopus was probably the Rocktopus was the real MVP of the show, dude. This thing was cool. He was like,
don't you know, Roctopi are attracted to
bummer.
parties.
He was like a surfer dude, and he was like, "Oh, bummer! You guys are trying to kill me. Why you doing that? I don't like it. I don't like it.
Rocktopus.
I don't like it."
Hit it.
Yeah, and he was cool in the Welcome Show too.
I thought Rocktopus was funny.
It reminds me of in like him in the Welcome Show. Reminded me of in Aquaman. Have you watched the Aquaman movie?
Yes.
Do you remember in like the trial by combat?
Also,
like
I
when there was
watched it like when it came out.
Yeah, fair enough.
7 years ago.
Fair enough. But there's a scene in it where like Aquaman and Orm were like about to fight, and there was like an octopus on drums, just like doing like the build up or whatever music for for the fight, which was funny.
Five
This kind of
Nights at
reminds me of that.
Freddy's steal from Aquaman.
Oh my god.
Can't believe it.
No, I do like the Octopus though. I would put it. I still wouldn't put it higher than C, but I would put it right there, like above everybody else in the Puppet
Scott
Show.
about to get sued by DC.
Next up is Dolly.
I would put that in maybe A, or it might crazy to say S. I really like Dolly.
No, I like Dolly a lot. Yeah.
Maybe A though.
Yeah, I would say A. Honestly, I think I would put her above Jackie though.
Dolly is my favorite of, like, I guess if you want what you would call the main enemies.
Yeah, I agree. She was really cool. I am curious about her too. There was the game theory talking about like the gas in her back or whatever, right? Which I don't think that was a strong theory, but I do think her having gas is interesting on its own. Like there might be something there. Probably not what the game theory suggested, but I think it's interesting to look into, and I might like talk about that in a future theory.
Oh, speaking of fear, I actually do have something to say about that.
Oh, you do?
With different characters on this list.
Oh, okay. But I think that overall, Dolly's a really cool character. And I liked her personality a lot. How she was just like, "You need a lobotomy." That was funny. And yeah, I think
misplace my patient.
I remember hearing her say that, and I was just like, did she say her patience or her patient? I was like, she doesn't have her patience, and that's a funny way to say that, but she said patient. I seem to have misplaced my patience. Get over here right now. I will kill you. As for her scorched form, I don't know what people are calling her.
I call her Molten Dolly.
Molten Dolly, Scorched Dolly, Melted Dolly, Burnt Dolly, Lava Dolly, something. She was cool in terms of like the horror aspect, like her section, like in the chase sequence, or not really a chase sequence, but like having to sneak past her was cool, but she wasn't there for very long. Like there was the chase sequence and then there was like you sneaking past her, and she wasn't there for very long, but I think that
But then she attacks the elevator though afterwards.
Yeah, that part was cool. I think that she kind of loses a lot of her personality in this because she can't really talk. Like she tries, but she can't, you know?
Yeah.
So I would put her lower than regular Dolly, but she still was cool. I'd put her in like top of B.
I thought it was cool that fire just kind of didn't kill her.
Yeah, she was just like, she just melted the wall and climbed out of it. That was funny and kind of cool. Anyway, any objections?
I hated those things.
I hated them. They were so annoying. Dude, in replaying the game, I was going around trying to get everything in that area that I could. And I died so many times. Or I had to hide so many times. Just because like I got too close to them.
That part took me a while to get through.
There's one area where you have to get past one to go get to a mailbox, but you can't avoid it. Like you have to trigger in order to get past it. So you have to get Chica to show up before you get that mailbox. And it's honestly pretty annoying. I did not like them. They were very annoying characters. Chica herself was pretty annoying too. I wouldn't put her very high either. But she wasn't as annoying as the cupcakes.
Kind of like with the Puppet Foxy, I kind of just got excited seeing Chica because of nostalgia.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And it's cool having the lore of like Chica's party world and explaining that. Overall, like in concept, she's a cool character, but in terms of an enemy, she's kind of annoying with her pathing. Mostly because she's really unpredictable. Like she goes like anywhere she wants. Like it's kind of annoying just because she's on the roller skates, so she just like goes anywhere. And like she moves in a very strange way, so she like can easily go into your path, even if she's not going that way, you know? And also when you're doing like the boiler like puzzle, there's a part in that room where she can come over there and she can spot you for like half a second and then she walks away. So you have to stop doing it to move out of her way so that she doesn't see you, which can cause you to fail it, and then you have to restart it, which is really annoying.
Oh my god, I once died. You know the bus?
Yeah.
I can't. I think it was like a collectible. They had to like go up like the bus in that area to get. And then as I was coming down, she saw me coming down and just like ran over and killed me as soon as the bus.
That's depressing. That happened to me when I was getting that collectible. Like I didn't die, but like I almost did because like I went I was on the bus going down, and luckily it wasn't even Chica at the time. It was just like the Mimic in another costume, because Chica was in the cupcake section, because this was at the end of the game. So it was just a Mimic in some costume. It might have been the dog or something. And I went down the bus, and he was just right there, but luckily he was turned in the opposite direction and walking away from me, so I got really lucky there. Overall though, Chica, I would put her in like B or C. It's cool seeing as an enemy. I'd put her higher than Big Top in C, but in terms of seeing her and her like as a character, I'd put her in B. Do I like her more than Arnold and the Captain? I don't know.
I don't think I do.
I would say more than Arnold. I'll put her right there. Anyway, next up is Tiger. Thoughts on Tiger?
Oh my god, that part was so creepy.
Yeah, I like that section a lot. It was kind of hard at times. Like, on my first playthrough, like, I died a few times, because I didn't really know how it worked at first. There's one part, like, I think it's in the second half of it, where you go into the light, and then you see another light, so you go towards that light, and then the light goes out, so you just die. That was kind of annoying.
I'm sure you've heard, like, everyone on the planet say this, and their mother, but, I'm seeing a lot of, like, people think, like, this might be like what Scott had in mind with Burn Trap for Security Breach.
I've never heard anyone say that at all. What are you talking about?
Wait, are you for real?
Yeah, who said that?
What? I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Like, you know how Burn Trap like wasn't supposed to move and stuff like that?
I think so.
People think that maybe like what Scott had in mind was like a similar section to like the Tiger Rock one.
Ah, okay. I haven't heard anybody say that.
Oh my god, I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, I've heard that quite a bit.
No, I to be fair, I've only really been on Discord like in the pinball server, which used to be my server, and in Literal Remnant. So besides that, like, I haven't really seen that much discussion about the game. So I need to like look into that more, like into just like more discussions, maybe inspire more theories in me or something. But yeah, overall, I just haven't seen enough people's thoughts on the lore of this game or like the gameplay of the game in general to have heard that, I guess.
Fair enough.
Overall, though, I think even though the section was really
online, so that's obviously good.
Yeah. Although the section was slightly annoying at times and really, really scary, I'd put Tiger in S, honestly.
Oh, above the Cleanovac.
Yeah, I would say so.
You know, it's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked how creepy it was.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody I liked better than Tiger. I think maybe one or two characters. Anyway, next up is the Star Orphans. These things were kind of creepy in terms of design, but they were cool, like, in terms of, like, the way that they were used. And also, they were creepy in the way that they were used, too. Like, for the moon section.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I don't think I'd rank them too high, though.
I wouldn't either. Yeah, they're kind of just there. But they're cool in concept, and I wonder if they have any lore significance of any kind. I haven't really...
They kind of just exist.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of just exist, but maybe there's something there. I'll put them, like, D, I think. But above Boston. I think right there is good.
Wow, poor Boston.
Alright, next up we got the classic animatronics, the prototypes of them at least, that Fiona designed. This is interesting, because of, like, the lore implications of this. Because...
I just want to point out.
Yeah, what's up?
You know how one of the endings, like, you go to, like, David's room, and it's, like, the FNaF 4 room?
Yeah. Which
I think would imply that, like, that was, like, originally Edwin's place until Afton moved into it or something.
I think that Afton probably took the house, and then he used the design of the bedroom, like, as inspiration for, like, the experiment rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're not exactly the same.
Going is, do you think these are the nightmares?
Huh. I haven't heard that idea, actually. That's an interesting idea. I mean, they could be. One thing is, in Didophobia, they were, like, on tracks, kind of like Dolly, which is, I think, an interesting detail about her. Especially since she has the gas, so maybe it could be, like, something related to the nightmares. These guys, they're not on tracks. So, like, it's possible they could be, like, revamped and turned into them. But I'm not 100% sure. It's an interesting idea, though. Overall, I think these guys are really cool in terms of just, like, the fact that they exist. Like, the lore implications of them are cool. I think the implication is supposed to be that, like, Fiona designed these characters, the classics, and then, like Edwin said, Fazbear decided not to use her designs, and then they made the Unwithereds. After they became the Withereds, they were, like, destroyed. Fazbear decided to remodel them and base them more on Fiona's original designs. That's what I've been hearing, and I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's cool to have them here in the first place, especially, like, in a FNaF 1 building, like, underground. It reminds me a lot of the Twisted ones, having, like, mannequins in an incomplete underground Freddy's location underneath the house of a creator. You know? Like, it's basically, like, the same concept.
That is pretty much the Twisted ones.
Yeah, and it's really cool. And it's cool that, like, because it's not even the first time the Twisted ones has, like, appeared in, like, a recent FNaF game, like, because there's the Mushroom and Waterfall Cave in Ruin, right? So I like that a lot. I think it's really cool to have that, like, implication.
And the Twisted ones had is where, like that was kind of like where the illusion disc sort of, like, came from. Like, do you think that could imply Edwin made the fear gas?
I mean, if he made Dolly, that would make sense, considering she has the gas tank, so maybe, like, that could be where that came from. That's an interesting idea. Or maybe he, in the games, was the one that made the illusion discs rather than Henry.
True.
Because I think that a lot of people used to say, like, Edwin and Henry were, like, parallels of each other, which I don't think that was ever the case with Tails, but I think with the games, like, and, like, the updated, like, story of Edwin now, I think now there's more similarities between the two, but not with games Henry, specifically with book Henry. Like, their stories are kind of similar, so I could see that being the case, like, having Edwin be the one that made the illusion discs. Like, maybe he actually used the illusion discs on the Mimic to make it look like Fiona.
Yeah, I feel like the Edwin-Henry connections, like, there's definitely, like, something to it.
Yeah, there's more now with the book Henry and with the game Edwin. Freddy's cool because we were him in the ending, which was kind of reminiscent of, like, FNaF 2 and Help Wanted 1. That was cool. So I think Freddy, overall, these are just mannequins, so there's not much to them. So I wouldn't put them super high.
Weird, that's like the most Freddy there is in a FNaF game.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't put them any higher than C. Because they are just mannequins. Same with, like, the puppets, right? I think Freddy...
You know what else are mannequins?
The nightmares.
Nightmares.
I think Freddy and Chica are probably the coolest ones. I don't know where I'd put them in here. Probably here, and I think Chica was probably my favorite of the mannequins because of, like, her position in the map, I guess. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, she and Foxy weren't that different, but, like, I feel like Foxy was kind of less cool. Actually, no, he was kind of cool. Yeah, I'd put him in C2. I'd put him in C2.
Is the one I saw the most.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it more, I feel like Foxy was probably my favorite because of the lore implication of it. Because Monty was on his stage, implying that the alligator was originally a part of the Core 4, or at least he was going to be. And then, like, they scrapped him, and then Freddy and Friends on Tour showing, like, how they made it make sense that Foxy joined the band. You know?
I actually have another thing to point out about there being a gator and a dog.
What's up?
Like, we have the Core 4.
Oh, God.
Red Bear, Spring Bonnie. The only other characters is a gator and a dog. And I'm just saying, Andrew's associated with a gator and a dog. And
Is Bub a dog, though? Because I think it's meant to be...
I think
like,
so.
It's meant to be Bubba from FNaF World, which is a bear, isn't it?
I mean, I thought it looked like a dog, but...
It does look kind of like a dog. I think there's, like, isn't, like, his bow tie kind of like a bone?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Sparky
like
and Fetch.
Color, then. Oh, Fetch, huh? Interesting.
I know that's
I'm just
what
saying.
You're trying to say. You're making the Andrew connections. I know.
Thing.
I know. Overall, though, I think that these mannequins are, like, of the classics are kind of cool. Bonnie's probably the least cool because he's just kind of in a corner and he doesn't really do anything besides, like, lure the Mimic to you. But by the time
Bonnie was put in, like, a weird spot.
By the time that Bonnie actually lures the Mimic to you, you're already gone, so it doesn't really matter that much. So he's kind of pointless. He's probably the most useless one. Honestly, I'd put him even lower. E.
It's weird. Bonnie was, like, the least used in the game out of the Core 4.
I like that his face is smooth, though. It's kind of reminiscent of the withered Bonnie because he has no face.
Yeah.
A little bit. Anyway, Now for the spring locks from the parachute ending. They were really cool. I like them.
We actually got to wear Spring Bonnie.
Yeah, and Fredbear. And I think that was probably the coolest part about it. So I'd put them probably the highest. I wouldn't put them like S tier or anything, but honestly, A or B, even though they're just spring locks that don't really do much, it's cool. It's so cool seeing them that I'd honestly put them this high.
I might actually put Spring Bonnie in A.
I would put Spring Bonnie in A, probably bottom of A to be fair. And then Fredbear I'd put like right below Burnt Dolly. As for Monty, I'd put him probably around the same spot actually. I like him better than the captain. And Bub I think I also like better than the captain, but I think I like him the least probably.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Alright, next up, Sleepy Moon. What is this guy?
That was creepy, but it was also really hard.
Why does he exist?
Good question. I actually have not figured that one out.
I don't know. I really don't know. And I have no leads either. Like, he's on a poster, so like he's intended to exist. But why does he exist? And why is he sectioned off in a section that is like completely destroyed and like decrepit?
David's ball is in that section.
It is.
If you think that means anything.
I don't know. I really don't know.
And also, what was it? Moon.exe.
Yeah. Like, I think it's meant to be the same moon as moon.exe because the face like looks the same.
Didn't that represent Edwin?
Yeah, it did.
So I'm gonna have to think about this because I actually don't really know what I think.
Yeah. But I don't know. Huh. Maybe it's meant to be like a reference to how in Tales, Edwin kind of like disappears after David dies because like the moon is like alone here, you know? Sectioned off from the rest of the factory, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it could be something like that. Anyway, Sleepy Moon was very creepy. His section was interesting. You had to get 4.
He's possessed by Edwin.
You had
I'm just kidding.
It was.
I got nothing.
I mean, he could be technically, but that whole section was like pretty long for one item, but like it was really cool and really creepy, and I liked it a lot. I remember doing that section, and I was like, "Why am I hearing a lullaby?" And then I see a giant moon man walk past me. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Like, ew, get away!
What are you? But yeah, it was really cool. I would put him in like A. I think he was cool. Probably like right.
I definitely put him high.
Probably like right there, right below Dolly. All right. Next up, look who we got now.
Edwin. I made the mimic.
It
was difficult
to put the pieces together. Edwin is a very interesting.
Where's his mustache?
Not here. That's why Tails Games is wrong.
Where's his mustache?
He doesn't have it. He doesn't have that mustache.
He's supposed to have a giant mustache.
And he's supposed to have sandy brown hair, but it's just dark brown.
I dyed it. Where's his mustache at?
He dyed it. Where's the mustache? All right. Well, Edwin's going in S tier. And it's honestly as simple as that, really. He's just going in S tier. I loved Edwin. I loved his characterization. I loved all the lore with him.
You know what I find funny?
Yeah, what's up?
That Edwin and Fiona are voiced by two people who are like who are kind of, not to sound mean, but are pretty old.
Yeah.
But the characters are supposed to be in their like 20s or something.
I'd say that they seem like they're a little bit older than they were in Tales, I'd say. But
yeah, they're still not supposed to be the age that the voice actors are, though.
Yeah, they're still pretty young.
So I just kind of find that weird.
Yeah, I like Edwin a lot, though. Fiona, I'm not as big of a fan of because we don't really see much of the real her.
Trill.
Like, she only appears in, like, Mrs. Helpful, which we already ranked separately. A couple of, like, the executive access things for Mrs. Helpful. And there was, like, the tapes for the elevator. So, she is, like, a helpful character. Makes sense why she's Mrs. Helpful. But overall, though, like, there's a couple tapes that she's in, but not very much, right? And it's cool that she did, like, design a lot of the animatronics, like Party Time Chica, and probably the mediocre melodies. That's cool, but her herself, like her characterization, there's not much to her, you know? I wouldn't put her
Weird.
low, but like, I wouldn't put her super high either. I'd put her like low A, high B, something like that. Maybe like right here. I'd say top of B. David now.
David, on the other hand.
David, not even on the other hand, on the same hand. He's kind of, like, we don't see much of him at all.
You notice he got a blue eye and a green eye?
I noticed I noticed someone say that, and then I looked at it, and I'm like, I can't really tell, honestly. It's really hard to tell just because of, like, the coloring of that image of him, but they did seem slightly different. But it's like Tiger's meant to, like, replicate him, kind of, right?
Yeah.
The thing about David is we see him once, that's this image of him. We hear him, I think, once or twice, and that's it.
The game doesn't even, like, say much on how he died, too.
Not really. I feel like he probably didn't die the same way that he did in the books because he was on his swing, right?
Yeah, like a playground or something.
Yeah, which is nowhere near the road. So, like, maybe he did see something on the road and then try to run towards it and did get hit by a car, like in the books. But
the mimic pushed the swing too hard
and launched him off of it and into the road.
into outer space. And then came down crashing on the road.
And then a car hit him.
On fire.
On fire.
And then he was hit by a van.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
William Afton.
I feel like the thing about David is just like we don't see much of him. Same as Fiona.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like the David mimic better because even though we don't see much of him either, like it's cool. Like in terms of like I guess the development of him, right? I think that's cool. But like David himself, there's not much to him. So
yeah.
I feel like I would put him probably also B tier, but towards the bottom. Probably like right below Arnold. Alright.
Fair enough.
Next
now we
up,
got good old F10
we got all the mimics.
N4. I found her interesting.
Yeah, also because this is M1, well, we can count this as like the M1 overall too. Just like her as, just basically mimic as Fiona. And I think she was cool. And I like the lore, like with her being the sun from the moon minigame. And like whatever the implications of that are is interesting because it seems like the sun is the one that killed the owl, which is meant to be David. So
yeah, the baby owl mask.
So like you said, maybe the mimic pushed the swing too hard.
Now launched David into outer space.
Yep. I think she was a really cool character. I am yawning currently because I'm tired, but at least I didn't wake up an hour ago like you. So overall though, I like her a lot. So
it was an hour and like 13 minutes ago, actually.
Actually. Anyway.
Wait, we've been doing this for an hour, or what the frick?
Yeah, the recording has been going for an hour.
What?
Yup.
Alright, we got her. Alright. Fiona, S, that thing, S, that thing, S, and then now they're all S. They're all S.
We're all S. Alright, that's it for the video, guys.
Goodbye, everyone. See ya.
No, but M1 I liked a lot. I think she was really cool. And I think the reveal of her was really cool too. Because at first I was thinking that maybe Fiona was kind of just, like, I didn't really expect it to be the mimic. I don't know why I didn't expect it. I kind of just thought that it would end up being like a spirit of Fiona, just like approaching Edwin. And then there was the tape, or the film, that was just like, hey Fiona, did you make the cake? Turns towards the mimic holding a fucking cake, and you're like, what the hell? I was, my reaction, my full reaction was literally just, oh! And then I just stared in shock. I was just like, oh, okay, so that's what's happening here. It was a really cool reveal, and overall I think it was just like a really cool, it was really cool in like the tapes and stuff, like hearing her talk. And like her characterization and her trying to help us. It was cool. Yeah. And now I'm yawning again. But yeah, I'd put her probably in S. I think right below Tiger. Right there.
I'd put her above Tiger, honestly.
Fair enough. I'd say she's probably like on par with Tiger.
What is that thing?
This is basically, it's like at the end of the game, in the parachute ending, when you're running away from all the little minion mimics. They're basically like
those things.
Edwin's attempts at making M2 a body, and they're all pretty small, so you're like, oh yeah, they're meant to be like shaped like a child, but like none of them were suitable. Like he made so many of them, but none of them were suitable bodies for David. So they wanted to just, so he decided to just like put the M2 program into the actual mimic, which is what resulted in it then acting like David. And then Edwin was like, no. Like after, like there was a tape in the parachute ending. Well, in the secret ending, really. You hear the tapes of Edwin being like, you're not the real Fiona. That's not the real David. So he's like, you should stop acting like Fiona. You're fake. Yeah, and then right before we see Tiger, that's when the tape there happens right after that one. So this is him being like, yeah, you're not the real David. Stop acting like the real David. And so that's when he destroys the mimic, probably breaks its legs, and then the mimic sees his aggression. And then now the mimic has two different personalities, one being David and one being Edwin.
You broke my legs, I'm gonna break your legs too.
But yeah, this is like the unsuitable body for David. I didn't want to include all of them because there was a lot of them.
Yeah, where is every single individual one?
Not here.
Real tier list.
But I thought this was the coolest one designed, so I just wanted to have it like this. They're actually kind of cool.
Where's Happy Frog?
I actually like them a lot. Shut up. I like them a lot. I think they're a cool concept, and I wouldn't put them higher than like C, but I think they're really cool, and I would put them probably like higher up in C, like right below Rocktopus. I would say. I think I would put them right there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think they're actually really cool.
Higher than the mannequins.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't expect me to put them that high, but I think I do like them a lot.
Yeah, I like them. It's just they're not really in much of the game.
Yeah, they're not much there, but I like them in concept and for like the lore of them. All right, next up is the David personality of M2. So thoughts?
I found that one cute.
It was so adorable.
I'm actually serious.
I wanted to give it a hug.
Cute.
I wanted that thing to give me a hug, and I wanted to hug it back. I loved this thing.
Yeah, it's cute.
He seemed so sad, and he was just like, okay, can I have the tiger back? And then they're just like, good night. And then he went to bed. It was so sweet.
Like, I love you.
I love you. Oh, was that kind of an accurate impression?
Yeah, that was a little scary.
I'm actually the mimic, just mimicking his voice.
You're the mimic?
My name is
You're the mimic?
I would put David Mimic right here? Question mark?
I'd put it below Fiona, personally, but
somewhere within here. It would be between Edwin and Klenovac.
I'd say like next to Klenovac, honestly.
The thing is though, I would put the mimic lower. The actual mimic. I do like the mimic a lot. I would still put him in S tier, but I would put him lower than David Mimic. Just because I think that one is cute. And I like the characterization of the mimic itself, just having like the two personalities, but he wants to be David. You know?
Yeah.
And that's why he's like, put the data driver in me, please. Turn me back into David. And then we do it. And it's nice.
Bro said put it in.
Please shut up. We're talking about turning him into a child. So can you please stop, adult? Anyway, Amalgamic. I think that's what people call this guy. Amalgamic. Basically the amalgamation.
Multi-Freddy.
Pretty much. The amalgamation of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy with the mimic inside. And it's cool. I like it a lot. I think this might be my favorite version of the mimic in the game, honestly.
I keep hearing the line, you there. You there.
You there. And I like that it's like, it's not only an amalgamation of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, it's also an amalgamation of all the other characters, like, in the entire game that, like, could talk. Like,
yeah, 'cause it says, like, lines from, like, Jackie,
Big Top. I think
Dolly, I'm pretty sure.
Does he say Dolly? I think he might say Dolly.
Mr. Helpful.
Yeah. And it's cool because it makes sense that it would do that because it was like it was all those things. So because like the mimic is able to like adapt their personalities, like it was able to do that, and now it was just like combining all of them into one.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So yeah, I think I would put it right there, right below Edwin. But I think Edwin was the best character in the game. I liked him a lot.
His name is Edwin.
He made the Mimic. But yeah, that was the tier list.
No William Afton.
There's no William Afton.
Mr. Hippo, and it's not even worth uploading this video.
Because there's no, dude, it's already been an hour and 8 minutes. I don't think we needed more characters.
This should be a list of every character from every FNaF game,
bro,
and book.
No, I'm good.
And the movie.
I think I'm okay.
And the troll games.
Okay, bro, calm down. Anyway, that is gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you want, and go subscribe to Libra. I think he's been making some Secret of the Mimic content, so I'm not the only one out there doing it. What?
Don't subscribe to me.
All right, you heard it here, guys. Don't subscribe to Libra. Anyway, I hope you guys
subscribe. You should unsubscribe.
Yeah, I agree. Unsubscribe to Libra. No, not to me. Not to me. You should
yeah,
say
to Evan. To Evan.
You say subscribe to me and actually subscribe again. If you haven't yet.
Subscribe to Nara Raven too.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
I don't know why I said that.
I don't know. Subscribe to people.
To Markiplier. He's a small YouTuber.
Yeah. We're shouting out small YouTubers today.
While we're at it, PewDiePie.
T-Series? No, not T-Series.
What'd you say? Alright, I won't drag this video.
Whoops, I dropped a water
more
bottle.
than I have.
Anyway, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!
Bye.